Good morning, party people. Thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to kind of update you guys on a couple things. I'm still in Cincinnati. However, tomorrow I will be headed to Kalamazoo, Michigan, so that I could be at the Gilmore Museum for the Volvo car meet at that museum on Saturday, 9 to 3. Link in the comments. Now, you guys should know by now that my channel is really all about letting you know how I conduct my maintenance, repairs, different stuff like that. It's not about trying to prove other people wrong or myself right. Now, I do take a little offense with all these myths people have, So when I find out one of these myths are bad, I expose it. For instance, I believe my dad never let his vehicle get under a quarter of a tank of gas. He was told that your fuel pump will suck up dirt in the fuel tank and ruin the car engine and stuff, and maybe something else along the lines of it would destroy your fuel pump. I'm not sure what the last car he had. The one I remember most was like a 79 or 81 Cutlass or something. Anyway, that stuff's wrong. I mean, I open up fuel tanks all the time. They look cleaner than the bottom of my dishwasher. The fuel pump hits the bottom of the tank. If there was anything floating around in there, it would try to suck that up immediately. There's nothing going in the fuel. This is not the 60s. These gas stations and petroleum companies and everybody in between is doing their best to make sure their product doesn't ruin 40,000 cars in one day. They ain't trying to get their company shut down. When that fuel comes out of that pump into your tank, that stuff is cleaner than the water coming out of your faucet. I bet you there's more regulations on that fuel than on the water coming out of Flint, Michigan. I'm just saying. It's just, stuff in your fuel tank's not true. You run that thing down below a quarter of a tank. You got people that are afraid to drive their cars because they don't have a lot of gas in them. They need to go take care of something, but no. They don't have more than a quarter of a tank of gas, so they're scared to start the car. I don't roll like that, You got people that think if that low fuel light's on, it's going to ruin their fuel pump. It's a myth. I'm not trying to say run your car out of gas every day. I ain't trying to say that. But I am saying, if you're in a tight spot, you ain't got a bunch of gas in there, do what you gotta do, And I do not fuel my tanks while I'm traveling across country until I get a low fuel light. They say my low fuel light comes on when I have about 3 gallons left in the tank. I doubt that pump is half submerged at that point. I'll run that thing down to, say, I got 25 miles to go. I think mine is actually off. I'm trying to get around to replacing that sending unit. The sending unit measures the fuel in the tank, because my tank is supposed to be close to 19 gallons. And when it tells me I got 1 gallon left, I can only pump 15 gallons. Somebody's alarm's going off. Give me a second. So, it ain't about me being right. It's about, you guys should know by now, I'm not a fear tactic guy. I try to tell like it is and try to help you keep your car on the road. I'm not encouraging people to fly down the highway at 100, 110, 120 miles an hour, Do the speed limit, get from A to B, take short stops, make sure your car is serviceable, get where you need to go, I'm not encouraging people not to change their oil. Change your oil like the owner's manual recommends. Use the oil the owner's manual recommends, and stop thinking you got to change the oil every 3,000 miles when the owner's manual say 10. So that's where I'm coming from. I appreciate the comments, please comment on all my videos. And I appreciate other people's opinion, especially on things I don't know about. I don't know everything, but some of this stuff is just myths, you know. It don't apply to today's vehicles, you know. It just don't. I also want to remind you guys that I talk a little slow in my videos because a lot of people that watch the videos, this is their second language. You can hit a button in the corner of the video screen and go down to speed and speed the video up. I watch a lot of people's videos at 1.5 speed, so an 8-minute video's over in 6 minutes, you know. And you could do that to mine. I appreciate you watching. As long as you can understand what I'm laying down, we're good. Thank you very much. I was able to find roof liner material for Dark Cherry and for Red Baron. Didn't find the material I want to put in Panther. Probably take care of a couple roof liners a day. Panther's timing belt's probably about 10,000 miles overdue. Now I have a theory. I'm not telling you not to change your timing belt. I have a theory that if you put the miles on quick, that timing belt can probably go a little past its interval. I used to do it on my 740 all the time. They said change the timing belt at 50,000 miles. I always changed it at 75. Never had a belt break. You know, 50% more than recommended. But I was laying those miles down in 2-3 years. It wasn't taking 8-10 years to do that. Now on Panther, I try to keep it on interval, but I was running behind. I mean, just extremely busy. I hadn't done it yet, so I'm gonna do it today. Get that belt changed. And probably the idler roller. I wouldn't plan on leaving that thing on there that long because I used idler roller on there, but it was tight. So I'll probably do the idler roller and the belt. The pump's not that old. Tensioner rollers normally last a little longer on them things, and the tensioner I put on there last time was new. That stuff's probably good. 210,000 miles. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Time to get cracking on getting Panther together behind the tree there. Man, my motto is if a car didn't have cruise and it doesn't have AC, I can't own it. Not me. The cruise and the AC is busted in Panther within the last week. So, really on my trip back from Albuquerque. So I need to get that taken care of. The good thing is I got parts cars out here. Yep. When it comes to Panther, everything out here is a parts car. So let me get cracking, get Panther squared away, cleaned up, and see what I got left for today. I'm going to start out by moving this thing and putting Panther up here because I'm going to detail it and everything. First thing I'm going to do is get the AC working. Then I'm going to put my computer on there, test the cruise control. I think the cruise control problem is the relay. And I think the AC problem is the low pressure switch. Then I'm going to clean out the back, get my tools situated, probably remove the seats and detail the inside, vacuum it up real good at least, and then put things back together, clean the outside, change this fender, change this wheel skirt, put my bumper on. I don't have the fog light that I need, but somebody's supposed to be shipping me one of those, so hopefully they'll ship me the right one. Those are a little confusing to see. Then I'm probably going to clay bar it and hit it with the cleanser wax and then hit it with my good wax. So that's probably a full day. It's going to be probably too hot to do all that stuff, but I'll do what I can. So let me get started. AC, cruise control. Tried to open the hood on old Mildred, and it didn't open. So we're starting off with something else already. Lifted it up, pulled it. Now I'm out here lifting it up, pulling it again. There we go. This car, the AC's not working. I think the evaporator is leaking behind the dash. So we need to get that ordered. In the meantime, I could probably take that low pressure switch, which is right there. So I'm gonna unscrew that. You don't need to deplete the system for that. It has a valve stem under it. And I'm gonna swap that over to Panther, see if that fixes my AC. A few weeks ago, I was in Chicago and my AC just quit working. No reason. This compressor's kind of new. As you can hear, fans running, but the AC clutch is not engaged. So I came out here and unplugged my low pressure switch. Plugged it back in and it started working. But now that's not even working no more. So I could jump this with a jump wire, see if that kicks my compressor on. Let me do that before I switch that thing over here. Hey, there's my magnet. I was looking for that yesterday. Looked like I also got some kind of beetle in there. Some plastic, probably from the roof. Let me get a jump wire. Put that jump wire in there, and my AC compressor is now engaged. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap this switch over. Oh yeah, feel that cool air. You shut this off and switch that over. You can't run this car with a jump wire in there because that switch monitors the pressure in the system, and it cycles that compressor off and on. And you don't want that running all the time. That'll blow up your system. So let me go ahead and just put a tool on that and unscrew it. Should be good to go. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the low pressure switch on my AC system. My air conditioner just randomly quit working. I happened to try to recharge it. It wouldn't take any more refrigerant. So I thought, man, let me check this switch over here. So I unplugged the low pressure switch, plugged it back in, and it started working. So that kind of led me to believe this low pressure switch was defective. Quit working a few days later. Plugging it in a week later, that quit working. So I turned the system on. It's not working. I come out here. I plug in the jump wire. It works. So my culprit, I believe, is this low pressure switch. I'm going to simply unscrew it, put another one on there. I should be good to go. This is, I believe, a 16 millimeter. This switch does not leave the system open. I believe it has a valve stem in there. So you could just unscrew it without depleting the system if everything is well. Let me grab the one that I'm going to use off of the donor car and go ahead and unscrew this one and replace it, and then make sure my system works. Kind of a sad thing, this switch wasn't even really tight on this one. So there's a slim chance that that may have been causing a leak. I'm going to, I don't see a lot of green around it, so maybe that's not it. But anyway, I'm going to screw mine a little tighter on that, get another one on there and make sure it's secure, and see if that may have been my issue. I broke it loose with my crescent since I couldn't find my 16. I'm just screwing it out. See a little bit of the refrigerant pops out. That refrigerant has leak detection in it. I'm gonna screw this one on, and hopefully it's the same switch. I think it is. feels plastic, doesn't feel metal. Maybe that thing wasn't loose. So anyway, let me cut my system on, see if it works. Man, my starter's weak in this car too. Got everything on. Let's see if my compressor kicks on. And it did. My compressor is running. So I'm gonna find a switch like this for the other car, get that thing replaced, and I should be good to go. Next, I'm gonna get my cruise working. I'm gonna swap the cruise control relay out, see if that helps it. If not, I'll break out my testing tool I have back there. I'll test it and get that cruise working, and then move on to doing some detail work. My crew's been acting up for about 6 months, and whenever you convert one of these cars from automatic to standard, you really should replace this relay. This is the relay for the automatic, that's the relay for the standard, and they look identical. I was told they gotta have a pin missing from here, but that car has the same relay and the cruise has been working. I tried the cruise on that yesterday and it worked, so I don't know about that. Maybe that's something different. So I'm gonna put this relay in there since I got it out of that standard transmission car and see if the cruise works. But cruise did work in that car yesterday, so here goes nothing. I don't know why they said I had to cut the pin out of mine, but let's go see if the cruise works. Cruise still did not work, so I'm gonna hook my tester up. Now what was going on before was the cruise was becoming intermittent. It was cutting off and on. Then it would cut on and work great for hours, and then it would all of a sudden cut off. So maybe the pump's going bad, I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and hook up my reader, test this thing, and see if I can get this thing to activate and work. And I may just have a bad pump, so because sometimes it would cut off and on, it would surge and stuff like that. So let me put that relay back and hook up my Volvo scanner, test the system that way, and see what's going on. Couldn't get my scanner to communicate with me on this cruise thing, so I changed the pump from the one on the green car. I know it worked yesterday, so I'm gonna take it for a spin, see if it's the pump for some reason. Swap the pump out with that parts car, and the cruise is working great. I'm back in business, boys. Time to clean up this mess. I have decided my next move is getting this front bumper off the Goblin. That's right, folks, I named it. It will live on one way or another, but this front bumper on the Goblin looks relatively undamaged. So I'm gonna take that thing off of there, clean it up real good, treat it with Forever Black, put that baby on Panther. Thank you so much for being so dedicated to my goals. Just washed Panther's rear bumper with that dang yellow sponge. This thing is filthy. I got this bumper pretty much ready to treat. I'm looking for my Forever Black kit so I can hit it one time with that stuff and then put 2 layers of Forever Black on it and get this thing installed on the Panther. Andrew gave me a plastic razor blade, get this pinstripe off, so I'm working on it, getting it off little by little. I got the pinstripe off. Man, I don't know if that was taped or painted. I can't tell. Anyway, I got it off. Don't really feel like a residue. Yeah, it feels like a little residue there, so I guess it's tape. I'm gonna go ahead and find something to clean that off. Now I see a dent in the dang fender I didn't see before. But Better than what I got. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off. I think the razor will help with that too. And then I'm gonna clean it, polish it, buff it, wax it. When I get hold of my touch-up, I'm gonna touch up these spots here. That may be another little dent there, but till I find something better, this one will do. I got behind here and squeezed those clips to get these off, and both of them broke. They're so brittle. So hopefully the other one will be good, or I got a couple new ones around I could put on there. I think my bumpers are dry enough to put my Forever Black on, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna treat this one again since it's all scuffed up. Then I'm gonna move them where they won't get wet and clean this up. Hit this fender with that McGuire's cleaner wax after I washed it, and it looks a lot better, but man, this thing's got some wear on it. But hey, maybe I'll buff it out and it'll look even better. You know, my fender had a little ding in it right about there. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my fender, put this one on, and maybe polish it again in the future to make it, you know, try to do some paint correction on it. But it's a little scuffed up, scratched up, but hey, it's better than wrecked. I'm gonna hit this bumper one more coat of this Forever Black. It was pretty hot. Just trying to get it as best I can. Let's hit it one more time with that Forever Black. Getting closer. Man, that 10 millimeter back there stinks. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the fender on, then the fender skirt in there, then the bumper. I got the light that goes there. It's taking it step by step. Man, I got the fender on. It's looking better than the rest of the car. Got to clean it up. Didn't tuck in the bottom, so I forced that in and scraped that plastic rocker panel, so I'm gonna have to touch that up. I got the fender well in. So now it's time to pop some rivets and slide that front bumper on and get that stuff attached. The top piece, which is up there, and then the front piece. Get this thing rolling. Heat index was about 100 today. Something about the way they stored my bumper when they had it is they deformed it. And then down here is cracked, and it's got a crack already right there out the gate. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wash the car, being that it's raining. That might help me a little bit, and hopefully it'll be able to dry it when it stops raining, and wax it with the cleaner wax, and then polish it with the good polish. May not clay bar it today. See how it turns out. This fender didn't turn out too bad. Looked better than the rest of the car earlier. I am using the polisher to wax and clean this car. I don't know if you can notice this, but from this thing there, the squirter over to the right, I use my dual action Harbor Freight polisher, and right here I did it by hand. It's a noticeable difference in the depth of the finish. What I'm doing is I'm putting the cleaner wax on with the applicator, and then I'm lightly hitting it with this. Remember those guys where you guys could see that, how that's cloudy, but over here it's not as cloudy? So I'm putting the applicator on the cleaner wax stuff, just, you know, covering it with that, and then I'm hitting it with this polisher, and it makes a big difference. You can see the line right there where it's really foggy and it's more black. Now, of course, my paint 450,000 miles on it, so yours will look a lot better. But, you know, I'm spreading that stuff on like that, and then I'm going to do this with one hand. Let me wipe my hand off and grab the polisher. So I'm going to try to do this with one hand so you guys can see, but it's a two-hand job. But this is basically what I'm doing. cutting the polisher on, I'm going one way, I go this way, then I move on. So I can't even turn the dang thing on. Very little pressure on the polisher. I hit a little area, and then I go that way. Probably not necessary, but this is what I'm doing. And then, by the time I get to my next spot, I just buff that off with the microfiber towel, and it looks great. So, these things are not expensive. You get a couple of these styrofoam pads with them, and you rinse them off after you do your deal. Try not to hit your rubber like I just did. And man, you get a good result with this thing. So just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing to polish Panther up a little bit. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.